Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim and this is Ollie, and today we're gonna do a roll and stretch video. So I posted on Instagram, my Instagram is @Senesi Yoga. Asked you guys if you're interested in doing roll and stretch. The response was overwhelming, so you guys must be stoked on doing a little rolling and stretching. For the rolling, I have a ball and a foam roller. If you don't have the ball, you can just skip the ball part, obviously. If you don't have a foam roller, you'll have to skip all the rolling part and just do the stretching, which is fine. Now, a great warm-up for today's video is to first practice the movement video. If you have a whole hour of time, you're currently unemployed, and you could just do an hour of whatever. No, I'm kidding. If you can fit an hour, that's great. That's really what we should be shooting for. If you can fit that hour in, the link is below. You can start with the movement practice and then come and join me with this one. So we're gonna start off standing with the ball underneath the foot. And I'm gonna take the ball just behind the toe mounds, the balls of your foot, balls of your toes, and I go right behind the toe mounds. I'm just gonna lean into the foot and go side to side. Are you able to get this on the camera, I hope? Okay. So I'm rolling side to side across the balls of the toes, and oh, it should feel so good just to get that little movement there. Feet get so tight. Okay, and then I'm gonna pin right in the middle, and I just squeeze the toes around the ball and stretch the toes out. Just gonna do that a couple times to wake up my feet muscles. And then go just to the arch of your foot, the high point of the arch you can see right there. And I'm gonna roll side to side across the arch of the foot. Oh my gosh. So I'm just teaching you some different techniques of rolling. The first that we're doing is cross fiber, where I'm going against the grain on the muscles of my feet. Then I'm gonna pin the ball and I'm going to twist my ankle one way and then the other. You can get a little close-up view of this. That's helpful if you look at the screen now. Okay, then I'm going to take the ball right to the front of my heel and I'm going to twist on there. So just pin it and twist. Just different techniques you can use to help to release better. Then roll front to back along your inner arch of the foot. Along the middle of the foot, and along the pinky toe side of the arch. Oh, don't fall over while you're doing it. Easy, jeez. Okay, and then I'm just gonna roll out the toes a little bit, get the toes to spread out. The toes, their house is the shoe, so they get very crunched into each other. So just getting the toes to spread and roll back and forth along the ball, that's really good. Okay, cool. Let's do oh man. Now, check this out. Stand with your feet hip distance apart and fold forward. And you might notice that your right hand, if you did the right foot first, drops closer to the floor. And you might also feel that even your right calf, back body, hamstring, lower back feel like they open up more. Come back up to stand. You might also feel like it feels like you're inhabiting your foot better. Like it's your own foot. You can feel like you're alive in your foot versus the other foot feels like kind of dead and stale. That's kind of crazy. So just by rolling, we get the nerves to start to relax a little bit. We help with the health of the nervous system, which helps your muscles to be able to relax better so they're not as tensed up. So now I have the ball across the toe mounds on the other foot, just rolling side to side there. And then I'm going to pin, squeeze the toes around the ball, stretch the toes out. And then I'm going to take the ball to the high point of the arch of the foot and go side to side there. And then I'm going to invert and evert the foot. A little bit different than side to side. I'm actually like trying to mobilize the ankle better. And then let's go to the front of the heel, and twist on there, just pinning and twisting. And then roll front to back along the inner arch of your foot. Along the middle. And on the outer arch. And then get those toes. So I just kind of like take the ball in between the toes and get the toes to spread out a little bit. Any toes that are more stubborn, I can lean into, get them to stretch better. Oh, why are those toes so stubborn? What's the deal over there? Hey toes, what have you been doing? Gripping, getting tensed up, clinging on for life. Oh, okay, well you can stop doing that. That's the conversation that I have with myself sometimes. Just a little peek into my insanity. Okay, so take that ball over to the side now. It's not going to its place. And we're gonna take the foam roller. Are you ready for this thing? So take the foam roller, and I'm just gonna show you a few different techniques. Now these do not have to be, this is not like the end-all be-all for foam rolling. There's lots of different techniques that you can use for the foam roll. I'm just gonna show you a few that I like. So first I'm gonna roll out the quads. My quads get really tight from what we've been doing in the videos lately. We've been doing on the movement videos, they've been getting super tight from, pretty tight and strong from the movement that we've been doing at the wall. So this has been helpful, along with my yoga practice, of course. But this just helps with the health of the muscles. So I take the ball, I take the, what's this thing called? The roller just above the knees. And then I just kind of like lean back and forth in one spot. Now, often what I see is people like on a mission, like going as fast as they can to try to roll the whole body. That's not really the way that your muscles will release. We want to just kind of like go nice and slow and gradual and start to allow the body to receive the rolling instead of just like attacking ourselves. Think about if you ever get a massage and the person sucks at giving a massage, when they go to like put their hands on you, if they're like aggressive and like pushing too hard, too fast, your body tenses up and it doesn't feel very good. So a good massage therapist will like ease you into it. Start just by touching the skin and then going a little deeper, nice and slow. So that's the way that we should roll out our body. Also, if you're on a super hard, I'm on the hardest foam roller because I foam roll regularly, so this helps me. But initially, the hard foam roller was awful. I could not handle it. So if you're new to foam rolling, I'd recommend getting a soft one and rolling out your legs that way. That's the best way. Okay, now let's do the space in between the IT band and the outside edge of the quad. So here's me all the way on the IT band, and here's in between the lateral quad and the IT band. So I'm just trying to break up the superficial fascia or fascial, I don't know, adhesions in between that space. So what happens every night when you go to bed, your body lays new superficial fascia. And this is the way that the body like heals itself. It's important, it's healthy. But if we never move that area, if we don't get any movement in it, if we never move it, that's the same thing, then what happens is it starts to get stuck. We get like big clumps of fascia. So every day we should practice movement. That's why we do movement. Oh, that's why we do yoga. That's why we do like the movement exercises, because it helps to warm things up and break up release those superficial, the sticky stuff in between your muscles and your skin, so that your muscles can contract and release better. So if you don't ever move, it all gets stuck up, and then one day you try to lift your arm and it doesn't want to move at all, it feels so tight. So this is just one way to do like micro stretching. This is like allowing you to get into the spots where you might not be moving even when you're doing yoga. So I have some of these, we call them like trigger points or stuck spots. So in these spots, even when I stretch, my body tends to avoid them. Let's go to the other side while I keep talking. So this is one way that we can get into those spots, the stuck spots that don't move very well for you, for whatever reason, because of your mind-body connection, because of the movements you're habitually doing, some emotional trauma you'll hold there. So this is one way to get into, do like a little surgery. You're your self-surgeon. You can get into those spots so that your stretch is more of a whole body stretch. You can get a more even quality in your stretch instead of allowing that one spot to stay stuck all the time. So I know my really tight spots, I can go right to those spots and give some extra attention. I pin it, I breathe, I just do like really gentle rolling. Notice I'm not doing big, broad movements, but just little micro movements to try to break up the stuck spot. Or not so much break it up, but allow my nerve to kind of calm down and allow that area to release. My body will start to send blood and nutrients to it if I just send the signal to my body, okay, it's time. I push on that place. Your body is its own healer. Don't try to break it up in one day. So that's a bad word for me, is to break it up. Don't try to get rid of years and years and years of tension in one rolling session. We end up like straining and overdoing it, and the nerves don't like that. Nerves react and they kind of fire up, and you can make an area worse from rolling. So just be careful with this. Okay, what are we gonna do next? Next, we're gonna roll out your lat, get a little bit of serratus in this too. So put your right hand behind your head like this, and if you grab the muscle, you can feel the muscle that bulges out when you do that. Bring the hand down, it relaxes. As you bring your hand up, you feel it push out. We're gonna roll out that muscle right there. So we let's lie down onto the roller. We're perpendicular to the roller, which is a math term that you learned in 8th grade. So we're gonna try to roll ourselves towards the roller and away from the roller. Math, I didn't know I had to do math again. This is awful. Thought I was done with that. I love when people leave comments that they liked when I did the voiceovers better because I didn't say as much stupid stuff. Sorry, you can go back to watching the voiceover videos if you don't like me saying stupid stuff the whole time. And then we're rolling our way back towards the back of the armpit. And then once you get into the back of the armpit, you can kind of like lean yourself into it and just rock a little bit. And then also rock side to side. Okay, let's try the other side now. Oh, if you have to make weird faces and noises, that's totally understandable. Oh, this side I want to make such weird noises and faces. Oh my gosh. Okay, then last but certainly not least, in fact, my favorite part, we're gonna roll out the upper back. My shoulders, my upper back gets super tight from paddling and surfing. So I get all these knots and stuff up in here. And this has helped me a ton in my movements and in my yoga practice. So I lift my butt up and I just kind of lean into spots in between my shoulder blades. Now in this area, I will do like nice slow broad movements at first just to get it to relax a little bit better, because for me it's so freaking tight that if I just try to pin, I'm on this super firm roller, if I try to pin right into the stuck spots, they won't react well. My nerves will like fire up and the muscle will tense. It'll stay locked. So I do like real smooth, broad at first. Oh my gosh. And then I can start to lean into that. Once I can feel, okay, my muscles have started to relax a little bit. I should really have like different density foam rollers, like a softer one for doing my back and my lats. But this is all I got. If you have a link for where to buy foam rollers, you can leave it below, or you can show me where to get a soft roll. Okay. Oh, jeez. Okay, so you should feel really good now. If you sit up tall for a moment, it should feel like there's kind of a weight off of you and like you're in your body better. And it's one of the feelings that you get just from practicing yoga. Foam rolling is a good way to create circulation and to help muscles that are chronically locked up to help to release them better. So now that we've done that, let's just lie on the back for a moment and reconnect to the breath. There might have been some holding of the breath because of intensity of the rolling. And gradually you want to be able to breathe even again while you're rolling, but just take a moment here to breathe even again. Okay, then we're going to do a little warm up for the hips here. So for this, I have to get the mat out of the way, and I'm just going to do some sliding of my leg and external rotation. So I keep my left leg where it is, and then I'm just going to try to slide the right knee up to the side like tree without my hips twisting, and then slide it back out. So I use my core a little bit as I bring the knee up, and then I slide it back out. So we're testing our hip mobility. And then change sides. And you might notice that one hip feels entirely different than the other. And then you wonder, it shows you why some of your yoga poses feel so different from side to side. Well, it's because there's all this tension in your hip. That's a whole different video, how to roll out the hips. Okay, that's a different day though. Now bring your right leg in like happy baby and take your big toe. And release that leg. Change legs, bring your left leg in like happy baby and take your big toe. Release that and roll to your right side. Come up to seated. Let's start to warm up the shoulders a little bit. So come onto your hands and your knees. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Now less about how deep you can go and more about how long you can make the spine. So visualize your spine in your mind's eye. And keeping the thoracic spine especially very long, slowly start to stretch back. So there's a point where I'll have to round my spine to get further, but I'm just going to keep it long and not go into the full child's. And then slowly exhale, come back. As you inhale, stretch your hips back. And as you exhale, glide forward. Then shoulders over the wrists. Let's try this from plank to down dog. So keeping the thoracic spine long, you'll stretch back to down dog. Or if you want to be lazy like me and just make it more stretchy, just go from on hands and knees. Inhale from plank to dog. Slow, keeping the thoracic spine long. And exhale. One more time. And then stretch back into full down dog or full child's pose. And come back up onto your hands and your knees. Curl your toes under, walk your feet up to the top of your mat. And then bring your hands to your hips and come all the way up to stand. Now we're going to do like a little bit of Tai Chi-like movement to help to warm up your hamstrings and your glutes. So bring your hands towards your heart and we'll pretend like we're pushing energy down with the hands. So little bend of the knees, inhale to open your chest. And as you exhale, nice and slow, stretch like you're reaching the energy down to the floor. Inhale to collect it back up towards your belly, and then exhale towards the outside of the right foot. Inhale back up, all the way down to the outside of your left foot. Then inhale, come back up, gather the energy up again, and stand tall. Okay, now let's bring the right leg up for a tree pose. Place your right heel along your left inner thigh. So if you're feeling when we were doing them, join the palms together. If you're feeling when we were doing that movement on the floor, sliding the foot along the floor, that the hip felt locked up on one side, you can practice that movement to get better mobility in your hip so that you'll be able to do tree pose better without your core moving. So really important to be able to do that. And what we're doing in the movement practice is helping to strengthen your glute med, which is your muscle that actually helps you to be able to stand up tall and move an opposite leg. So that's really important exercise to increase your mobility in poses like this, one-legged poses. Lower your leg down and change sides. Bring your left heel up onto the inside of the right thigh. Sorry, I'm showing you my underwears now because these are very slippery shorts. If the balance is good, try closing your eyes or raising your arms up. And bring your arms back down, your leg back down. And let's do a few standing poses now. So separate your legs wide apart. Stand tall with all your toes pointing straight ahead. Then turn the left toes in slightly as you turn the right thigh all the way out. Bend the right knee. Tip from your pelvis out over your right thigh. And let's go forearm to thigh for the first round. Draw the navel up, expand the chest, and reach your arm all the way over. Inhale, come back up, and change sides. Stand tall through your spine, bend your left knee, tip from your pelvis out over your thigh, and bring your forearm down. Lift from your belly, expand the chest, and reach your right arm all the way over. Inhale back up. Turn your feet to the other side. And now let's see if the body is willing to go a little bit lower. We'll try to go lower and put the hand onto the block. So tip from your pelvis, maybe hand onto the tall block or the medium block, your call. But what we don't want to do is round the thoracic spine. Keep your whole spine long and then reach your arm over. Inhale back up. Turn the feet to the other side. Bend the left knee. Tip the pelvis. And bring the hand onto the block. Reach your arm all the way over. Lift from your belly, come back up to stand. Turn your left toes in so your feet are parallel. Then step your feet all the way together for a moment. Stand tall in mountain. Okay, so last week we worked on the progression from Parsvottanasana to Warrior 3. This week we're going to work on the progression from triangle pose to half moon. So what's required for half moon is the ability to hold triangle with a long spine and a straight leg. So let's see if we could do that. so you can hold half moon well. But I want you to be able to create the connection for these poses. I'll scoot over a little bit so I don't go off frame. Okay, so I have my back foot angled a little bit. The right thigh turns all the way out. Open your chest and tip from your pelvis instead of rounding your spine. Then place your hand down onto the block or onto the shin if the block is too low for you. The tendency is people feel like they go deeper by putting their hand deeper. But we want to keep the spine completely lengthened, like you're being pulled through your crown that way. And then see if you can straighten the leg. That's actually a deeper stretch, a better stretch for your body. Then take your arm up. Now look down at the floor, put your top hand on your hip and bend your knee. We're going to try to recreate that position, but balancing. Slide the block in front of your pinky toe. Raise your back leg up in line with the spine, and then pull the spine forward as you breathe the right leg towards straight again. Bend your knee. Let's come back to warrior two. And stand. This is a cheating warrior two, it's a lazy warrior two. Okay, turn your feet to the other side. Turn that left thigh all the way out. Then tip from your pelvis out over your thigh. Hold the length in your spine as you go over. Bring your hand onto the block or onto the shin. Keep reaching your spine forward that way in the direction of your big toe. Lift from your belly, expand your chest, and then take your top arm up. Bring your top hand onto your hip. Look down, bend the knee, and step up. Raise the back heel up in line with the spine. Pull the spine forward again, elongate, and then start to lift your inner thigh bone on your left foot up into the socket as you press down even through the left foot. Bend your knee. Lazy cheaty warrior two. Come back up. And then parallel your feet. Good, then fold forward and put your hands onto blocks. So let's come into Ardha Parasvottanasana. The important part that you're looking for here is, let me show you from the side, is a flat back in your spine. Now I've been getting the question, I get the question sometimes, what do I mean by flat back? I mean, like I could set this foam roller on your back and it would lie flat, which is really a neutral spine. It doesn't mean that your spine is flat. When your back is flat, your spine is in its neutral position. It has the curve of the lumbar, has the curve of the thoracic, curve of the cervical. So when I pull the spine longer, that helps my curves to go into their neutral position. When I let my spine sink, then I'm sinking. When I let my spine hunch, then I'm hunching my upper back. So I want to find neutral and be as long as I can. Open up through the arches, make sure that the knees aren't locked back. Instead, pull the inner thighs up if you can. And then navel in, lengthen all the way, walk the hands back, let the head drop. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands to the hips, come all the way up to stand. Step your feet together and stand tall. Okay, now for Parasvottanasana Warrior 3, we're going to use the wall. Parasvottanasana and Warrior 1, we're going to use the wall today. So this is going to be helpful to stretch the calf muscles, the ankle, and this is also going to teach you to feel your back body line better, which is super important. The back body line is something that I noticed that often people who have been practicing yoga for a long time come to my class, they have no awareness of. And the back body line is your Tadasana line, which is the foundation of your standing pose. So here I'm setting up for warrior one. I have my back heel rooted. Now you can take your stance longer if you're more flexible than me, but for me, I'm hitting like the end range of how much my calf is willing to stretch. My foot is turned in a little more than 45 degrees, and I have my hands at the wall right in line with my chest. Now as I stretch this leg, I'm gonna pull up, grow tall from the core of your spine. So you should be at like a 5, maybe a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10 for the leg. That's what you're going for. When we're stretching, you don't want to be going up to a 10 in every stretch because you're actually creating more tension. Your nerves are fighting the position that you're in. So just like a 5 or 6. And when you start to dissipate, go below that, you can try to go deeper into the pose. Now I could scoot my heel back a little further maybe. Okay, now keeping that heel stretched, I'm going to start to bend this front knee. Oh man, I'm going up to like a 7 now. Okay, I'm just going to hold there then and let it go back to a 5. And then I'm going to see, can I bend my knee a little further? A little further. So there's an upright quality, there's effort, yet I'm trying to relax into the stretch at the same time. Good, then straighten your leg. Should feel like that whole calf, ankle feels much more open now. Then I step this foot back to measure the right distance. A little further forward because I inched it back. Okay, now on this side it's not as tight. But I am really tight in the front of my hip on this side, so I'm just going to stay here and pull up from the core of your spine. And then keeping all that length and stretch through your back leg, slowly start to bend the front knee. And release. Okay, let's do a little modified Parsvottanasana now with this new back leg awareness. Okay, so back leg strong. Then I'm just going to start to lean the chest head towards the wall, keeping the stretch through the back leg. And on this front leg, instead of sinking into the shin, I reach through the front foot and I pull the thigh up. Ooh, it's a hamstring experience. I never know what to do with my hands in this position though. Whatever you want to do with your hands to get your elbows and your arms out of the way as you stretch. This is also a great way to practice twisted triangle. You get the idea. Come back up. I learned doing this variation from Manuso Manos, who is an Iyengar yoga teacher in San Francisco. He made us go much longer in our stance though. It was really intense, but he prepared us really nicely for it. We haven't done a ton to open up the legs today. It's a short class. That was a 4-hour class. By the 4th hour, we were ready to go very deeply. So that's the other thing you should know about practicing yoga is the time that you dedicate to your poses is how you're going to get more benefits. So really just from practicing 30 minutes a day with me, it's only going to take you so far in your practice. I'm going to offer you options to go deeper in your practice, but just by practicing with these 30-minute videos, you're going to make your body healthy. But if your goal is really getting deep into poses, then you're going to have to change up things a little bit. but that might not be your interest. This will keep your body healthy, long, strong, flexible, just by doing these little 30-minute practices too. But if you want your yoga to look like a magazine, then yoga in a magazine, that's a whole different thing. Let's practice a little twisted triangle now. And then come back up. And release. Okay, so just stand for a moment in mountain and feel the effects of what you've done. I feel lighter, I feel stronger, I feel happier. Whatever you feel, just notice how you feel. I feel like my legs feel more alive. It feels like my ankles can move a lot better now. So that's kind of cool. Okay, now come onto your mat and we'll practice the low lunge. Start with your left foot forward, right knee down. And I'm using blocks because I'm very tight in the front of my hips and this helps me to open up better. And then draw your hips back just a little bit. See if you can bend the knee and then reach back with your hand for your foot. Release your foot, bring your hips back over top of your knee, and then slide your foot forward and go right into dorsiflexion today. Remember, we don't want the hips to twist off or the spine to twist. Practice elongating your spine. Or as Ned Flanders says, a crooked spine is the devil's work. So don't let the Simpsons illusion there. Keep the spine as long as you can as you're stretching. And then slowly rebend your knee. Change sides. And then back off the stretch a little bit, bring the heel towards the butt, and see if you can reach back. And release that. Then slide the hips back over top of your left knee. Wiggle your foot forward till the leg is straight and dorsiflex your foot. Okay, good. Then release that. And make your way into Dandasana. So we're sticking to pretty much the same movements, or the same yoga poses, with a little bit of variation throughout the month. Sweep your feet over to the left and twist to your right so that you can master them. So one of the ways that my yoga practice really started to change, when I first came to yoga, when I tried to fold forward, my hands only came to just below my knees and I was super stiff. And just practicing vinyasa yoga didn't help me to get a lot more flexible. I got more flexible, but really what got me more flexible is practicing the sequences from the book Light on Yoga. And in those sequences, you repeat the same poses for like 2, 3, 4 weeks until you master them. And by mastering means like till they kind of look like how he's showing them in the book. So sometimes it took even longer. Like one course, it says it's supposed to take 2 weeks. It took me 4 months. So for a while, I was like, man, I really suck at yoga. So you want to stay with poses until you become proficient at them. It's a sign that your body needs to keep doing it. Come back to center. So in our first few weeks of movement with Tim, we're doing these pretty basic poses. And I want you really to focus on these poses and make sure that they're going well for your body. Is it weird that I'm referring to myself in the third person? I thought that was so funny. I'm going to keep doing that from now on. That'll be our inside joke. New people to the channel will be like, this guy is so weird. Okay, come back to center. Take your legs wide apart for Upavista Konasana. Sit up straight and tall, chest open. Twist to the right. Twist to the left. Come back to center. Then take your right knee like a tree pose leg. Bend the knee, bring the heel towards your pubic bone along the inside of your left thigh. And then turn to face your left leg. Sit up as tall as you can. So this might be your stretch, just working on sitting up tall with the leg straight. Or you might be able to tip forward and grab a hold of your foot. Stretch through the sides of the lower back evenly, tall. And then maybe if it feels like you have a flat back and it's easy to sit like this, then you can start to go deeper. Bring your head towards your foot. Breathe though. And then come back up, change sides. Back up. Baddha Konasana. And take your feet forward slightly until it looks like your left leg is making a 90-degree angle, the shin and the thigh. Then reverse your right leg, make a 90-degree angle between your legs, and then sit as tall as you can. And instead of leaning over to your left butt, try to grow tall right up over your pelvic floor and between your sit bones and stretch from your inner right leg to your knee. Like if you lift your hands up, you wouldn't sink over to the side. You're so pulled up in the middle. But use the hands to help to create traction for the spine, like you're being pulled up taller. Slowly release. Also a good stretch for your inner leg, maybe for your hip too. And change sides. Reverse the left leg. So this is like a very basic variation. It's preparation for a very advanced yoga pose where you take your foot, bring it up into your elbow crease, and then, I don't remember how exactly, I never mastered that one. It was too gnarly. Sit up as tall as you can in between your sit bones, right up over your pelvic floor. And slowly release that one. Okay, then cross your legs and fold forward. You could rest your head on a block or take double pigeon if it's not much stretch. If the block is too low, you can stack blocks or just work on your upright seat. And then come back up, change the cross of your legs, and fold forward. Come back up, and then lie down onto your back for final spinal twist before Savasana. Cross your right ankle over your left knee, open your arms out to the side, and then slowly let your legs fall over to the left. Keep the right shoulder head grounded as you let the legs fall over. And then come back to center. Change sides. Cross the left ankle over the right knee. Left arm out to the side and keeping the left shoulder head grounded, chest open, slowly let the legs fall over. Come back to center. It's that time, Savasana, corpse pose. Stretch your legs out, let your feet fall open. So completely relaxed now. Anywhere where it feels like the body still feels sticky, it feels like the skin feels like it's sticking, give that area permission to relax. Let the sticky spots unstick. And feel more and more space in the body now. Space between the skin and the muscle. Space in the joints. Space in between each and every cell. When we're stressed out, when our body is tight and in pain, it feels like there's no space. It feels like we're constricted, contracted. So just feel how good it feels to inhabit the body in all of its space. Vast, infinite space. And this is one of the reasons why practicing meditation and practicing yoga regularly can start to have such a profound effect. When we choose speech and actions from this place of space and calm, these are just wiser actions, less reactive, more connected. Gently bend your knees and roll over to your right side. For a moment, just notice it might feel like the colors are brighter, like you're looking at things differently. And just notice all of your senses. Press yourself up. Might feel like they're heightened. Now that you've taken time to relax, bring your palms together. Thank you. Namaste. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I went a little long today, a little longer yoga practice. If you liked today's video, please hit the like button, leave a comment below, and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. And yeah, give me your feedback, things that you want to learn about, maybe that I'm not teaching. And I'd love to connect with you in the comments section. And I will see you next time.